Right, I have under my armpit here the album Trespass. Coincidentally, I've taken off my red shirt to reveal a t-shirt which is the same shade as the cover. I have an honest admission. I bought this about 9 months ago. I've owned it when I was a teenager, and I let it slip because I've never actually appreciated it completely. In these digital times, I've come to appreciate it a little bit more than I have done in the past. But between you and me now, I read so many plaudits saying how wonderful it is. And JP in Florida says, oh yes, amazing. I don't actually appreciate it. I'd say it's a 3-star album. Do you know why? Because when you got Stagnation on Seconds Out and in Rome in 2007, and you hear the jubilation of the Italian crowd and the Parisian crowd just humming the most gorgeous of melodies, and you hear the studio version. Now, this is an interesting discussion regarding the versions that are on Seconds Out and Genesis Live of Genesis songs. When they do outweigh and hold more clout and vigour than the studio versions, they do so significantly. There's no denying that. And with Stagnation, for example, even though it's just the middle refrain, it flows so well. And Gabriel's there going, so let us pray, or whatever. I suppose you had to be there. I think that's the honest truth. You had to be with Gabriel to fully appreciate him. You had to be in your 70s. You have to be in your 70s when you're 75 to see what that guy was doing, and what that Phil was doing on the drums, and what Stephen was doing sitting down in his National Health spectacles, and what Mike was doing sitting down with his Rickenbacker. Did he have a Rickenbacker? And what Tony was doing. He was doing so much, wasn't he? They were a brilliant band. But had they fully developed their technical and songwriting ability? Let's go through the songs. Looking for Someone, is that the first one? Now that reminds me of a soul singer. Who does Gabriel compare himself to? I forget. It's good, and I remember JP playing it for the first time and me thinking, wow, there's loads of soul. It's like the song 32 Chambers, 32 Doors, the Chamber of 32 Doors on Lamlas down on Broadway. It's got that bluesy soul R&B. It's like gospel sound. So, what's the next track? You see, I don't know this album as well as I should. Is it Dusk? And I loved Dusk first time I heard it, and then I realised how kind of sixth form acoustic guitar strum it is. You've got White Mountain. I've heard live versions of that in 75, just with Phil singing it. Or was it Dusk? I can't remember. You know what? I'm gonna shelve this. I'm going to listen to the album again. So there'll be a part 2 of Trespass. I'll talk about the knife. The knife is irritating. If you're going to rock out, you've got to rock out hard. I don't think John Mayo carries the groove well enough. And Hackett, of course, is as Phil readily admits, he's a bit staccato, isn't he? But it wasn't Hackett, was it? It was Anthony Phillips. So that's my theory out the drain, down the drain. And then you've got Stagnation, which, as I've explained, is much better live. As a snippet, as a piece of a medley. For these ears, anyway. And then you got Dusk. I'm mixing up Dusk and White Mountain. I can't remember Dusk at the moment. And then you've got Visions of Angels, the opener. No, track 3. That's a great song, isn't it? And should Stephen Wilson get hold of this again? I don't think there'd be much point, because the playing isn't that polished, is it? As people have told me often, you cannot polish a piece of inferior art. Not to say that this is inferior, it's got its own character, and all I'm saying is I have not been able to appreciate it as much as the other albums. Although I have categorically stated now, having had the digital versions and listened to them in different situations, I've appreciated them more, especially Gabriel's voice and a few other aspects, but not too many. So I'll come back to this one having heard Dusk and White Mountain. Thank you very much for being patient and understanding.